press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update.
Hi students, welcome back to your social science class. Today we are going to start a new chapter, that is social movements, unit 3 of your sociology. Now when I say social movements, a lot of people have been involving themselves into fighting for the society or the social evils in the society, something that is going against them. They have been protesting, they have been writing, they have been speaking out, they have been performing, whatever it is. Why are they doing all that? For the betterment of the society. Why are they struggling? Because at least if they have not got it, somebody else can get it. Now, especially with Dalits, people have fought for their rights and their recognition in the society. They were considered as a very lower class. Harijans, they were called as Harijans then later. But before that, they were considered very oppressed and a suppressed class of people. They were very oppressed and they were considered inferior among others. So various movements were there. Okay, movements, I want you to understand the word here, is like some association or some councils, okay, gathering of people who are doing it for a common cause. We have studied in social and religious reform movements. So those movements, okay, I'm talking about those movements. So in detail we have discussed about so many things in that lesson. See, if we have to sit and discuss about so many things or anything that's happening in the society, every day we can keep on discussing, because there are so many things you can really look into or see the merits and demerits of whatever is being implemented in the society or whatever is happening. How far is it affecting people around them? Everything can be looked out. We can have debates after debates. We can have discussions on discussions. We can have different opinions. We can all have that. Everybody can have a different opinion. Basically, if we take dowry, taking dowry or asking dowry is punishable, but still people involved in it. I have seen people involving in it. They marry for the sake of money that is going to come with them or with the girl. They don't want the girl, but they want everything else that's coming with her. That's such a degraded form of respect that you're giving the girl who is leaving everything and coming to your house, isn't it? So to protect women's rights or women exploitation, any kind of exploitation that was happening in this society, different movements began. Now in this we're not going to study in detail, just like we studied in that social and religious reform movements. Now those were relating to society but also based on religion. Here in a general view we are going to focus on different aspects like women's movement, alcohol prohibition, such kind of movements that we are going to focus on. Now what you are going to study in this chapter is the meaning, the origin and the nature of social movements. What is social movement exactly? Then you will focus on what's an environmental movement, a women's movement, alcohol prohibition movement, the farmers movement, workers movement and untouchability prohibition movements. So we will go detail line by line and understand the deeper or the inner meaning of each of these words mentioned in your text. Okay. Now the sentence that's given in your text is social movement is a social process that's related to social mobility. So the word social has come so many times. Social understand in terms of the society. Social movement is a social process that is related to social mobility. Now any movement that has to come, all the processes that are involved in it or anything that has to be done is being done for the people or the citizens, for the people. Through social mobility, okay. Have you heard of mobile vans? They go from mobile libraries, okay, they go from one place to mobility, movement, okay. See, understand two things, movement and movement, okay. pronunciation may be same but different meanings. Movement, now I am moving, that's a movement. Okay, movement is like these samajas or these councils, okay, that have been formed. Movement and movement. So here, whatever change that is happening in the society or whatever processes that are happening, everything involves something or the other. We have to move from one place to another. We cannot be stagnant. I cannot be standing like this very still. I have to move myself, okay. Maybe after class I'll be walking outside. So I am, what am I doing? I'm moving from one place to another. Another aspect that's needed in the society is transition, that is change that is there. Change in the society is really needed. We cannot be living in the past and thinking that, oh, it happened like that and we are also going to do the same thing. No, we can't be doing that. Why can't we be doing that? Because our times are changing. Because everything around us is changing. With the technology that is advancing, with science that is advancing, with people's thinking that is going greater than what it was in the past. We may have lost on so many things. We may have lost on the traditions, we may have lost on the cultural beliefs, we may have lost on certain values. But what has to be gained on the other side of the coin was not gained at that time. And what we are going to have in the future, none of us know now. We don't know what's going to happen in the future, what kind of advancements are going to happen, what kind of experiments people are going to do on. So the level of intelligence has become high. Now we are working on artificial intelligence. So many things are being done with that artificial intelligence. Why is that level of an intelligence being focused on? Robots are doing all your work. What's the use of people now then? So we must see everything has its own disadvantages. We must think on a regular basis as to how it's going to impact us or how it's going to make us better for things that are going to come in the future. Here in this way, we need certain kind of movements because people keep moving, people keep changing from one place to another. They cannot be stagnant, they cannot be staying in one place, but they also need change in their lives, and they also need certain kind of awareness that's going to happen in and around them. Now, these movements that are done, or these organizations that come together to put people and make them understand, they all have a common goal. They have a certain plan, their blueprint is already laid down, and they want to focus on what's to be done according to their plan. Nothing more, nothing less is their duty that they have to focus on, okay. So they achieve it through different program of action. That is, now for example, if you have your annual day or your college or school day that is there, you have a schedule that is laid down for you, isn't it? Maybe prayer, the band is going to play, the invite of the guest, okay, the principal speaks, whatever it is. There is a schedule that comes, the college, the school or the college anthem, and the rest of it below written down. That's a program of action. We have a schedule that's laid down. What's more important for us now? Important is implementation of that schedule that's being written down. Here, likewise, in the social movements, what do they have? They do have certain goals, they do have certain plans for those people. If you go to the rehabilitation centers, where if people are addicted to certain drugs, certain alcohol, and they want to get rid of this, certain families take them, or certain people take them on their own. They have a lot of activities for them. Okay, they have a lot of developmental programs that happen so that they can get rid of this addiction that they have, maybe smoking, drugs, or internet addiction also. And on the other hand, what did I mention? Okay, I mentioned something, I just forgot when I was thinking of something else. Okay, alcohol, drugs, in all of these things. Now, people are laid down, some programs are being put down for them. I had an opportunity to go when I was doing my degree, when I was doing my BA, and there I really did see people of how they are being made to get rid of these alcohol addictions that are there. It's a difficult situation or difficult phase for that person there who has been into consuming alcohol for a very long time, but the change that is going to happen to them is a really successful and a really nice one to see. Because some are too much addicted, isn't it? Even internet for that matter, too much of addiction of anything is bad. Now phones are there for a purpose. We must also make use of it for a purpose, not more than that. So I think now in the times that are going to come, we'll have to also deal with these kinds of problems with relating to internet. Everything is easily available. Easily available doesn't mean that you cross your limit or cross your line there. But certain times it's a mistake that happens. We can always rectify the mistake that we have done. It's not that we can always be perfect individuals, isn't it? We do all make mistakes, and once we realize that mistake, that realization and the rectification that is there is more important than you doing it again. So these movements, they have their goals, they have their plans, and they have their program of action. They want to do some action, and then they see their results. Now, these movements have been happening in the past, they have happened in the present, and they will also be happening in the future, because people are in need. There is awareness that has to be created. Why do so many things happen? Because of the lack of awareness. Now, if you take this virus that has affected us, I see a lot of people just walking on the streets without their masks on, not even taking care. They are touching their faces all over, and it's disgusting to see them, because they don't take care of themselves, but somebody else has to be taking care of them. So we cannot be blaming people who are in the authority until you yourself take responsibility for your own health. What's wrong, or what loss do you have in wearing a mask? Nothing. You're just protecting yourself from whoever is there outside. People have a happy-go-lucky attitude, and they're just walking on the streets as if nothing ever has affected them. We all must fight together. When we fight together, that's where unity lies. In these moments also, for that matter, if one person is struggling to change everybody, not possible. How much of energy can that one person drain? There's a lot of stress with that person. If so many like-minded people come together and then put in their ideas, they have a certain goal or a common goal, then it's easy to gather people together. But take this virus for that example itself. This taught us so many things. It taught us to be so disciplined in life. If you have observed your actions, all of us have been at home. All of us have been having a different kind of situation. But ultimately it has taught us how careful, how responsible, how disciplined we have to become in life. That is taking responsibility for your own self. That is more important than others taking responsibility for yourself. Even while driving, you have to look at the other drivers. The other drivers are not bothered. So you will have to look at your own vehicle as well as the others and concentrate more on them and who is walking on your path. Even people, when they have footpaths to walk, they don't walk on it. They come on the road, which is meant for the vehicles to run. So see a lot of indecency that is there with people. When does this indecency stop? When they are created or made aware. It's not that we lack information. We do have information, but ignorance is what is there with people. When certain traffic rules are laid down, when the police says wear the helmet, why are they saying? Are they saying for their profit? No, they don't have anything to do with it. You lose your life, you will go, but they're talking about your safety. So when somebody gives you something, when somebody says something, we cannot be too ignorant. Certain things, yeah, we can ignore, but too much of ignorance is too bad. Too much of anything is too bad. So, where will these people be brought to track with these movements and creation of awareness that is there? See, there are different kinds of people. All people cannot be convincing. That is, all people don't have that quality to convince the other. Our personalities are shaped differently. Some may be very bold, some may be very sometimes it's like this. Sometimes when you see a person, you automatically get attracted to that person because that person has those characteristics. maybe is very bold. You can see your dress sense and your body language speaks volumes. Okay, your gesture speaks volume before even you utter your words out of your mouth. If you see somebody walking, the way they walk, the way they are dressed themselves will speak a lot more things. That is, non-verbal cues speak a lot more than your verbal cues that are there. Even before you utter hi or hello from your mouth, they have already judged you when you have walked in. That's what happens in the interview. A psychologist sits for that reason. See, these kind of characteristics convincing people. Now, who are needed to create awareness? People who can convince the others. All don't have these qualities. Some can be very straightforward. Some can talk pleasingly. Some will just butter you. Okay, don't get too much into buttering. Some will butter you and okay, this is like that, this is like this, I'll do that, I'll do this. Don't fall for it. People who speak straight are good, because they will speak to the point. They will not take you here and there. But there are other people also who will give you certain reasons and certain causes for what's happening. Those people can get into creation of awareness, because it's always like this. It is, you must feel the connection with the other person, whoever is telling you. Now, even if somebody is teaching you, even if somebody is talking to you, you must feel certain what is that, interest in that person, to listen or to talk to that person. Only then you can say, okay, this is right and this is wrong, this is what has to be done, what shouldn't be done. All these things, all these factors impact how we live in the society, or how we develop ourselves in the society. All right, then all this has been a part of evolution. Man has learned so many things from the beginning of how to live, survive, okay, and advancements that have happened in the process of living and our lifestyles also. Now basically these movements began for the purpose of stopping exploitation that is there. Exploitation in many ways, in order not to have these kind of exploitations, people started to, learned people started to make these kind of movements, okay. Now, what I am doing alone, that is, I say, oh no, I don't want it. That cannot be called as a social movement. If I say, if somebody asks me dowry and if I say I'm not going to give you, I can resist or I can say no. But on a larger scale, what's going to happen? I'm only saying no to one person. I'm not saying no to the entire community, isn't it? Okay, the boy and the boy's family maybe. But if there are 10 people like me who all say no together, then together as a group we become a movement. That is saying no to certain things. So that can be considered as a social movement. Now, a social movement is a community-based program, that is people community. That's what I told you. I cannot be doing it alone. I have to have 10 or people along with me, and that's why we make a group together, a community that comes together. So, a lot of processes that help, and people can give their ideas, their visions, their thoughts, and that's how they lead into a formation of certain things. And this is what I told you, people who enter into this understanding and level of awareness, they go into or seek results in an unexpected way. You must visit a rehabilitation center if you can, okay, see the transformation that they do or the activities that they give them, the conversations that they have, the communication that they improve. All this is actually getting them away from that addictions or getting them away from their regular routine. So giving them a different kind of a timetable, giving them a different kind of routine is going to somehow stop them in a way. Okay. Now Mahatma Gandhi believed in the beginning that God is truth, and after that when he met Dr. B.R. Ambedkar and others, and finally he changed the statement into saying truth is God. So see, we have certain perspectives in life. I may be thinking in a certain way, but over the years, when I experience certain things or when I meet certain people, that same perspective that I had will change. And I will think in a different way. Maybe I was thinking of a certain thing maybe 5 years ago, I was thinking of a certain thing. The improvement that has happened the next 5 years is different. What I'm thinking today was not what I was thinking 5 years back. You see for yourself, what you were thinking, now you just think what you're thinking today will not be the same what you're thinking in the next 2-3 years. So we'll have to change. We have a transition process that's happening, okay? And everything is through the basis of communication and our developments and our awareness through life and the society. Now, why Gandhiji? Now, Gandhiji has been involving in a lot of improvements to be done in the society. He has involved with a lot of people who have been into social movements, okay? And then that has created a lot of social change. He was not alone. He had a lot of people with him, isn't it? All people at that time were like-minded. We have studied in the lesson social and religious reform movements. I told you then that those people who were there, who were mentioned in that lesson, have thought about topics of certain things which are still happening today long ago. So do you understand the perspective? Long ago they discussed about that, and why are we still doing it? So many years back. So they say history repeats itself, it's still repeating. I don't know whether it's going to repeat in the future, but it is repeating. So many things in different forms. It may not be the sati system or parda system or whatever it is here, or Devdasi system. All those systems, sati or Devdasi, parda, have all taken different forms. They have just flipped the coin, that's it, nothing else has happened. That flipping of the coin has made it very difficult for the society. Now none of the women jump into the fire of their husband. But how is a woman treated if her husband dies? See, the implication is the same. There it was considered the woman is of no use after the husband dies. What is she going to do? So let her vanish away. Let her get herself burnt away with the husband. Sati system. What's happening now? If the husband dies, the woman is no longer respected in the society. Sorry. Why doesn't she have her rights? Or why doesn't she be considered as an independent person who can live for herself? Why is it always in an association with the wife with the husband? Because of the patriarchal thoughts that we have. Because of the patriarchal society and the so-called patriarchal systems that we have. The girl is getting married off and sent to the husband's house, and after that she belongs to them and is entangled with the husband. Whatever the husband says is right, or whatever the husband decides is final. So anything that is revolving around her life is with her husband, nothing of her own. Now this is not happening in all families, okay? You must keep in mind this is not happening in all families. People have become open-minded, yes, agree to it. People have become open-minded, broad-minded. People have realized the importance of having girls in the family, or realized the importance of educating the girls, and while giving in marriage also they don't think about all these things. Or even the husband's family or the boy's family, whoever is getting married to a certain girl, doesn't think about not empowering the woman that comes to their house, not entangling that woman inside that small corner of the house. They are open-minded. Certain families are there. But on the other side, so you have to always understand there are two sides. So this is one side, a good perspective. This is another side, the bad perspective, where the woman is still entangled to the husband. Once she is married off to him, fine, that's the end of the story. Either she sits at home and takes care of the children and the family, otherwise she does nothing. She's not allowed to go to work, she's not allowed to go to some study after marriage. See, that is open-mindedness. Some don't allow them to pursue their career, some don't allow them to do what they like. Okay, why can't she be considered independent on her own? See, marriage is an institution that has to happen. Okay, it's a choice. Want it or don't want it, it's a choice, but it's an institution. It has its own values, it'll take care of itself. But the systems that we associate with it is very wrong. the systems that we have put into practice and the system that we are putting into practice now is an all scam that happens, okay? Is everything, we have a lot of questions. I can ask you so many questions on these topics, but how can we change it? When we ourselves change this perspective of, see, you may be a boy or a girl, whatever it is, but everybody has to think in a certain term of a person, not in terms of gender. If we thought only men could do certain things, think about so many other women who have been trying to give you certain things, okay, who have been, we studied in the chapter entrepreneurship, if I'm not wrong, you have learned about certain women who have reached the stars. So every profession there are women, so they have been doing their best, they have been doing whatever takes through life to them. So these are like, see, these have come into their perspective of being a good perspective or a good way. Where have they got all this? Because of the awareness that has been created, because of certain movements that have, maybe, see, not all are involved in movements or not all go and listen to talks or seminars, something like that. But sometimes it has come on their own. Sometimes people may have gone there, somebody may have taught them, somebody may have told them certain things, and that is how it has led to all these perspectives, okay? So you must be open-minded, boy or girl, whatever it is, you must be open-minded, considering in terms of a person and not caste, gender, whatever it is, not in certain terms like that, okay? All right, now, in the 19th century, most of the environmental resources was belonging to the public property that is there. Then came industrializations, governments and private companies started, and they started having their ownership over them. Then legal provisions were brought. See, we have been improving as a society. We are still improving on certain things. See, certain things are put into place. Maybe law has been brought, certain rules and regulations have been brought, certain authorities are there, so everything is put into place. You just know what to do, you just know, should know where to go and how to do it, that's it. Then tribal people were left dependent on their natural setting that they were. Reformers also raised their voices. Different movements came into this background and all these times, okay. So different places people started evolving, people started connecting from one place to another, other similar movements started connecting. Just like, see, if you have a cake shop in your city, they have their branches in other cities. Same way, these reformers, they started to connect people with the other states and other districts or other cities, and then they formed a total group that is there. Now, Indian independence movement is one such example that has also given us a permanent change that is there. Now, some movements have failed to give this permanent impact, some have a long-lasting effect on you. Now, Bhakti movement, okay, people like Buddha, Mahavira, Basava, okay, Dasa, Sufis, Ambedkar also have been fighting against caste system and other things. So go back to that lesson, social and religious reform movements, and see, read it again for yourself. Okay, if you have read, I appreciate you, well and good, very good. If you have not read it, please go and read it, because see, you can understand this lesson better if you read that lesson. So that's why that's done first before this, okay. So this is how we keep up the respect and the dignity of the society. All right. I would like to start with this, students. I want you to think on certain things that are happening in the society and question yourself. Question yourself, will I do that same thing? Will I do that same thing in the future? If your answer is no, then you are on the right track. You will not be doing it. Once you say, I'm not going to do it, I'm not going to do it. Don't come under the pressures of anybody. If you yourself feel it's right, it's right. Okay, don't support unnecessary things that are happening. Okay, unnecessary practices or traditions. So you must be aware now. You are getting educated for the purpose of all these things, for creation of awareness. Now, education is the highest form of knowledge that you can get. Why do they say so? Only when you take that knowledge and implement it, implementation is always the problem. Only when you implement that highest form of knowledge, that's when you become a good being. That's when you realize certain things to be brought here and that is not to be brought here. Okay, so with this little bit of advice that I can give you, I also have so many years to see. I've seen very little years till now. So every day is an experience. Okay, every day is you're learning something. So in the years to come, in the years that have happened, this is a little bit of advice that I can give. So think for yourself what's true and what's false, and then that's how you become good on your own terms. Okay, thank you very much for listening.